Hey everyone, it's Jessica Michaels here with another layout for Creative Scrapbooker Magazine. Today I'm featuring simple stories and I'm using this For the Record collection. I started off with a sheet of textured white cardstock and this striped background paper, which I cut down to, I think it was about 9 inches by 10 inches, somewhere around there. It's a little bit bigger from top to bottom than it is from side to side. And that was simply because I didn't want to cut any of those stripes apart, if that made sense. Originally, my design was going to actually cut every single one of these stripes apart, distress them and put them all back together, but I ended up just wanting like a frame of these stripes, if that makes sense. I wanted that white frame around the outside, so I just cut it down and I distressed the edges, leaving it all intact. I'm gonna grab this tag right here that I pointed to along with this other orange one and just trim them off my sheet here. I do all my paper trimming off to the side out of my camera frame because I have a large paper trimmer by Martha Stewart, so it's a bit bulky to pull over into my frame every time. So I've got my tags here and I'm just going to tuck them in at the top there where I just put a little bit heavier distressing to kind of create that little notch. And then my photo here of my little guy on his first day to school in preschool. I just matted that with some smooth white cardstock first, and then with a scrap piece left over from another layout in my stash here from the same collection, just that blue stripy kind of background paper, not stripy, but it's kind of more of like a tablet paper. So I just used that to mat my photo with, just dress the edges a little bit, and there's my tags. I also wanted to do some machine stitching on this. So instead of cutting apart all of my stripes, I had this vision that I wanted to create this little frame around these stripes and do machine stitching all around the outside and across each one of those little stripes. I did some zigzag stitching as well, kind of thrown in there randomly as I was going along, and yeah, that's just what I really wanted this to look like. I really wanted those colors to pop. This was the perfect photo to go with the colors in this collection, and I love all of this collection and how you can just document anything with this. It's very, very versatile. And I love all the little schooly kind of office bits that I can throw on here for his first day of school photo. And I've grabbed this Color Cast Designs acrylic piece here to use as my title. It says Awesome Story, and this one does have a little bit of a story to it. I wasn't sure where exactly I wanted to place that acrylic, so I did settle at the bottom there. The story behind this photo is he was not excited at all to go to preschool. He has an older brother that also goes to school, so he's already in school, but he just was not excited about it, and he was very excited about school in general, but when it came down to actually going to meet a teacher and to the pre-events before preschool started, he just was a grump and he was not excited at all, didn't want to go in. But then when it finally came time for him to go that day, and when he came home that day, he was so super happy and excited about it, and I got this photo sent to me from his teacher that day. So super sweet, and I wanted to document that using this collection. So I've taken this sheet, this is actually a leftover strip that I have from one of the other papers as well, and I am just cutting some of these cute little word phrases, and I'm going to do a tone on tone effect here. This is something I don't do enough because I really love the way that it looks, but I don't do it often enough. So I'm going to do that here today, and I'm just going to cut out some of these phrases, and I'm going to use these across my page, just color coordinating. Now, you guys know, if you've watched my videos in the past, you know that I love word bits and little word phrases all over my layouts and kind of scattered about. So this really goes with my style, and I'm a cluster scrapbooker, so I love to group together embellishments. So you can see on the side of the photo there, I've grouped together quite a bit of embellishments there. I'm going to still add a few more, and I've also used a canvas flare that says Heartbreaker from Scrap and Happy Studio. So I'm going to use that on there today. It's just super sweet. It was from the Valentine's Day release, but I decided to pop it onto this layout because it just goes perfectly with that photo, and my son is totally going to be a heartbreaker. Oh my goodness. He's so super sweet and just full of joy, and he just cracks us up with the funny things that he says. So I thought that'd be perfect to use on there. I'm going to kind of balance out that circle design using another circle embellishment at the top there, and that's from the sticker sheet that I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and place place my title down here. This is an acrylic title, so I'm going to use some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive on it. That dries clear, so I don't have to worry about any of it sloshing out like it did. So I know that it's going to dry clear, and I don't have to worry about being a little bit messy with it. I wanted this thumbtack somewhere, but it didn't look right where I had it, so I pulled it off and I ended up not using it. Sometimes that happens, but you know what? I like to sometimes cut things out of these sticker sheets so that I can move them around on my page without actually committing to sticking it down to my paper. That's why my sticker sheet is cut up a little bit. So I'm just going to continue placing down these little word phrases, and I'm just using, again, my Nuvo glue for that, getting them all stuck down. I am using my tweezers to pick them up. That way it's just a little bit easier to grab them. And I'm just alternating, kind of varying where they sit, so it's a little bit random, and then just gluing down the rest of my embellishments over here on the side of the photo. I'm trying to be careful not to get any glue on my photo because I always manage to get something on my photos and have to reprint them. It seems like it always happens, but luckily I print from home, so it's pretty easy for me to reprint them when I do mess one up. I'm going to create my famous glue dot sandwich here, just using some medium glue Zots and creating a little sandwich with some thread and glue dots to hold down that flare to my layout. And then the thread that just kind of hangs there, that little tail, I've just glued down using some of the Nuvo glue. I love these cute little scissors, but I wanted to keep with my little, I tried to keep with my little stripey theme and keep them on the orange section, but I really liked them down here by the photo, so I ended up just popping them there. And then I am going to do the same kind of effect that I did with the flare with this other round embellishment by just tucking in some of that same orange thread and again using some glue dots to secure that down to my page. So there isn't a ton more that I really need to do with this. I'm just finishing up and kind of filling in anywhere that I think it needs filled in or anything else needs added. And basically I'm just kind of twiddling with it at this point. It's pretty much done, but as you know, I am a more is more kind of girl, so I have to really tell myself when I need to stop. So I'm just adding a few more embellishments. I loved that pen, so I tucked it in there. And I loved this little flower, so I added a couple of those from the floral ephemera pack from the collection. And then some white splatters. You can easily do some white splatters just by watering down a little bit of white acrylic paint. This is nothing fancy, it's just some cheap white craft paint from the grocery store. And I just water it down a little bit and flick it on with my paintbrush. Super simple and easy. And then just for a little more touch of something, I of course love sequins, so I am just dumping them or just dropping them on. I like to drop them onto my layout like this. It just creates a nice random effect. So rather than placing them individually, by dropping them on there, it just makes them really random. And I feel like when you drop them on there like that, it just looks a lot better than if you were to place them perfectly spaced out one by one. So I just kind of drop them on there and then I just glue them down just by using that Nuvo glue again and my little sequin tool that I got from Amazon. So super simple and easy way to add sequins to your layouts. If you don't have a sewing machine to do your machine stitching across these stripes, you can easily just draw that on there with a black pen. So I'm just dumping that to see if any are going to fall off, and it's good to go. Lastly, I'm going to add some journaling here to the bottom just to tell his little story about what I already mentioned. And then I am going to add some twine into these little tags at the very top. Sometimes I forget to do this, so it's a nice little finishing touch to finish off those little tags and add some twine in there. And then I'm just taking my tiny attacher stapler and stapling down those tails. So here's the finished result. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this process today, and I hope you enjoyed this video and I'm able to inspire you to create something today. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.